trees and destroyed dozens of homes. Officials are still assessing the full extent of the damage. Weepa also made its presence felt during rush hour in the capital, Tokyo. The powerful winds forced the cancellation of public transport and flights, leaving many passengers stranded.
I've never experienced anything so bad. I was in a store, and when I came out, I was really surprised.
Japan is no stranger to natural disasters, and the government reacted swiftly, setting up an emergency team to respond to the typhoon.
We've held a meeting of the relevant ministries and will do everything in our power to handle the situation.
Particular concern surrounds the stricken Fukushima nuclear plant. Operator TEPCO says it's put special measures in place to prevent more radioactive rainwater spilling out into the sea.
Well, it looks like it could come down to where in Washington. The U.S. is hurtling towards debt default, and Congress still hasn't been able to break the deadlock. The government has been shut down for 3 weeks now, and if Democrats and Republicans don't strike a deal to raise the U.S. borrowing limit and reopen the government by Thursday, Washington will default on its debt, with huge implications for global economy. Meanwhile, there has been a flurry of activity on Capitol Hill, and Senate leaders said they are optimistic that they would come to an agreement in time. But as we hear in this DWTV report, tensions are running high.
Enough of the deadlock. And they've brought their protests to Washington, D.C. Just some of the hundreds of thousands of government workers sent home on unpaid leave as the political parties continue to bicker. Republicans and Democrats were close to agreement late on Tuesday after weeks of toing and froing in Congress. But Republicans in the House of Representatives refused to back the proposals.
We're disappointed that the House Republicans decided to sabotage or at least delay what was happening there, but are hopeful that everybody knows the time is of the essence, and that if the Republicans in the House want to put up a bill, they should do it soon.
Total U.S. debt exceeds annual gross domestic product. The country borrows nearly $2 billion a day to cover spending. But now it's due to hit its own borrowing limit. Since 2001, lawmakers have raised that limit on 12 occasions, most recently, just a few months ago, to almost $17 trillion. Now a warning from one of the big three ratings agencies, Fitch. It says it's considering cutting America's AAA credit rating. The other agencies, Standard & Poor's and Moody's, could act if the political brinkmanship in Washington continues. Investors are anxious. Markets around the world could plunge if no deal is found.
The risks are being completely ignored. There's an assumption the U.S. will avert it at the last minute, just as it always does. But that's worrying because the consensus opinion is generally wrong.
With the markets wary over what happens next, the cost of insuring U.S. debt against default has hit its highest level in over 2 years. If the deadlock goes on into Thursday, the U.S. enters uncharted territory. Politicians, bankers, and economists are warning of global consequences.
Well, Republican and Democratic leaders of the Senate have struck a cross-party deal to reopen government and raise the U.S. debt ceiling, according to the BBC. That takes us to our second break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. FIFA President Joseph Sepp Blatter recently sent 2 emissaries to Banjul. Visits by high-profile officials like Francisco Borusli and Sampan Kaplan usually interest the media and football enthusiasts, while the Football Federation has been briefing the media about the duo's Banjul trip. Amadou Esdialo tells us more.
Visit to Zurich and his interface with FIFA President Joseph Sepp Blatter, a 2-man official delegation was dispatched to Banjul. The platform availed members of the media fraternity and the FIFA delegation the opportunity to give an in-depth analysis of their mission to the country. Bori Dabo assured that their executive doors are open to FIFA and the Confederation of African Football, CAF, in mapping out strategies for the development of Gambian football.
Nations Cup for the Gambia to develop Gambia football. And those are some open door policy. We will continue to engage FIFA because we definitely want to develop Gambian football.
Francesco Brascoli, FIFA Development Programs Officer, told journalists that his team is in the country to level the ground for FIFA. Top FIFA official went on to say that the World Football Governing Body, as expected, will adequately support the Gambia Football Federation to fully utilize the FIFA Gold project in Yundum. Brascoli added that the World Football Governing Body will support other planned projects when approved and will be presented to Issa Hayatou, the President of the Confederation of African Football, and Michel Platini, President of UEFA, in February for approval.
We are still in the process because the project will be approved, will be presented, hopefully, in February. So we have a few months now to work on the actual project proposal, but I'm very positive that we will do it.
The Italian football administrator, however, raised concern about the conditions of some of the pitches in the country, which he believes his institution will help in redressing. Brascoli disclosed that intensive talks are ongoing that will enable them to come up with mini stadiums and proper stands for football fans. The present GFF leadership's request for capacity building of personnel, an issue the FIFA officials say will be addressed in earnest.
To bring in capacity and experience to develop activities within different domains that will be identified. There will be another mission, ideally in the beginning of 2014. This one will not last a couple of days like us, but it will be a much longer mission, more people, more expert in different domains.
Sampon Kablan, FIFA Development Officer for Africa, expressed his commitment to work with the football executive for the betterment of Gambian football. The Ivorian Football Administrator welcomes constructive criticism from the media, which will help the Football Federation to perform very well. In a question and answer session involving members of the media, Francesco Brascoli also gave some wise advice to Gambia football officials in developing grassroots football. Sampon Kablan, responding to a question posed to him about the FIFA Gold project that was underutilized, the Ivorian said that FIFA will continue to render support to the development of football in the country.
It is your own, it is your property. So you must take care of it. It's not something we give and then we all the time we must stay here, hey, do this, do this, do this. No. What we can do is to help you, what you need us, and when there is stability in the country. So you need you need a training center. We give you this training center. What are you going to do with it? You must know what you are going to do with it. If you don't like, no ask. Give it to you. So we must follow it.
The two officials' arrival in the country signals a new dawn in the process of revitalizing Gambian football, months after the election of a new executive. Mohamed S. Jallo, Grts Sports.
From sports, we join the Central Forecast Office for a look at the day's weather report.
What Gambia stands for. Understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.